Is the reaction that we're seeing because of this one-off from the Brazilian tax authorities?
It seems that way, although, again, it's a crazy time in Hollywood. Taking a step back, there is competition coming from everywhere, YouTube, Twitch, AI, new AI services. But, if you take a breath, you look at the third quarter slate, they had incredible engagement across the board. They had K-pop Demon Hunters, the most popular movie in the history of the service.
325 million views, it says in the press release.
New Squid Game episodes. You jump on there now, you got new Wednesday episodes. The franchises are all doing really well. At the same time, all these investments they've made in live programming, WWE, boxing, all of that is starting to really pay off. They're going to have their first NFL games coming this Christmas. So, I think from a strategic programming platform, you have to say that things are going well for Netflix.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at, I guess they're talking about one fight here. Was it the Alvarez and Crawford fight or something?
Alvarez. I know Carol was up all night waiting for that.
I was totally up all night. I was not up all night. But it said across Netflix's social channels, the fight generated over 950 million owned impressions. So it's a lot of momentum. Having said that, there's lots of competition. I know when I'm looking around for things to stream, sometimes I stop on Netflix, sometimes I don't. I mean, what is it that it needs to kind of keep doing in terms of the momentum? Is it, Felix, all about the spend and making sure their IP and their content keeps bringing in the eyeballs?
Yeah, and making sure that the churn rate stays low and that people looking forward think that there's something coming down the pipeline that they need to stick around for, because it's so easy to bounce in and out of these streaming services now. You watch a show that you love and then you kind of binge watch and then I'll cancel that one. I'll pop over to the next one, subscribe to that, watch, cancel. And Netflix, I think more so than the other streaming services, has done a good job of making sure that there is this steady drumbeat of, you got to stick around because Wednesday's coming back. Oh, you got to stick around because Stranger Things is coming back.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's an easy service to cancel. They kind of pride themselves on that, but there's no reason to cancel if you want to watch that next thing. I promised we talk about HBO because my mind was blown a little earlier today when we got a report from Lucas Shaw and Kelsey Griffiths that Warner Brothers Discovery is in the running for Netflix, which is a little bit of a surprise to me, given what we heard from Greg Peters, that they're builders, not buyers. But Lucas made the point to us on our air in the 2 o'clock hour that maybe they could carve it up a little bit and they would get the studio. And he made this comment that they might not even take HBO and they just feed HBO's programming.
Right.
And I was like, that's a crazy world that we're living in when less than a decade ago, you had Reed Hastings saying, we want to become HBO faster than HBO becomes us.
Yeah.
And now they are the media giant. They are the incumbent.
Yeah. And meanwhile, HBO's parent company has been staggering through one, M&A deal after another, and they haven't worked out. And so once again, we're talking about who's going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery's assets. And today they're saying, we have interest from multiple parties. We were going to reorganize the company and these two, one part of the company would be focused on the studios and streaming. The other part would be the TV networks. But maybe, we'll be open to different possibilities, including potentially selling parts instead of the whole. I think Netflix clearly wouldn't want to be owning a bunch of cable networks. They don't want to own CNN. They don't want to get into that business. But would they take a look at the library? I think due diligence you have to, because Warner Brothers Discovery still has one of the biggest, richest libraries of IP in the world. They have Harry Potter. They have, the Hobbit universe. They have DC universe. They have so many different things.
What would happen if you had walked into Richard Plepler's office 10 years ago and said, Netflix could buy you?
Yeah, he'd have a stroke. I mean, this is just it's beyond thinking.
This is a crazy world we're living in.
It's been very topsy-turvy, and, Netflix star has risen to the point where, they're the dominant streaming service, and they're in control, and they can kick the tires on the entire company or whatever bits and pieces.
Is this AOL Time Warner happening all over again or something? Or no, we've learned.
To go through the whole history, now we have AOL Time Warner, we have Time Inc., Time Warner Inc., Warner Media, AT&T, Discovery. I mean, it's just, you have to, it's the whole alphabet of different companies that have now been in charge of this.
Is content still king?
Yeah, but it's king for 5 minutes, and then the next thing comes down the pipeline. It's just endless. You can never rest.